Hi guys and welcome back. This is hopefully going to be a bit more of a relaxed video. I am on my kitchen stool, I've got a cup of green tea here and I've got my phone here because I thought that I would film a Q&A. I basically asked you guys on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter for questions. I have to say that I do have quite a lot, so what I'll do is I'll probably film a load today and then I'll film a load in a couple of weeks' time and I will write all the questions down below so then you can see if your question's been answered, and if it hasn't been answered then you don't need to watch it, you can just wait for the video in a couple of weeks' time. So I'll do Facebook questions first, and the first question is around how can you basically work out sugar on a label, so per 100 grams and how much should you be having a day. So when it comes to reading labels, the first place I say always to go to first is the ingredients list, because the ingredients list never lies. You've got the biggest ingredient first, and if sugar is either the first, second or even third ingredient, then you might want to think about buying another product. When you're looking per 100 grams, anything above 5 grams of sugar per 100 grams is going to be classed as medium, and then if it's labelled red then you need to know it's going to be high in sugar. Now you've got fruit sugars, milk sugars and added sugar, and it's the added sugar that you want to be cutting down on. So the ingredients list never lies, and if you are looking to reduce your sugar intake, look at the per 100 grams when you're comparing products and choose the one that is lower in sugar. So the next question says, I've only just looked at what xylitol is and how you use it in your cooking as a sugar substitute. I try to go without or use maple syrup or honey when baking. So when it comes to adding sweetness in baking, I love to add a few different things. First of all is xylitol or erythritol. So erythritol is found in things like the Sucrin Gold or the Sucrin Sugar alternative. Xylitol, one company is called Total Sweet. These two are really good because you use them gram for gram, volume for volume in comparison to sugar, and they add both sweetness and bulk. If you're using sugar in a recipe, for example jam, that's just out of sweetness, then you can use something like Truvia or sweetener, which is a natural sweetener. And yes, some recipes you can easily use things like honey or maple syrup, especially in no-bake recipes where it's really easy to control the amount of dry and wet ingredients. The only thing that you might need to bear in mind is that if you're, say, swapping sugar for honey, well, honey is still a sugar, it's just slightly more natural, made from bees, or made by bees, is that you might want to reduce the moisture content of the recipe. So I will link down below to more information, but my favourite two are, as I said, xylitol and erythritol. They're kind to skin health and you can just use them like to like for sugar. So the next question says, what are your views on paleo? And if you've been following my blog or social media channels for a while, you'll know that I promote everything in moderation. So I personally follow the 80-20 rule, where 80% of the time I do try to eat healthy, whole foods, and the other 20% of the time I eat anything. You know, chocolate, have alcohol in there. The paleo way of living, so it's got a lot of really good principles. So paleo is a bit like eat as the cavemen would, so lots of fresh fruits and vegetables. They ban a lot of products which might make it hard to meet your daily needs for certain nutrients. And like I said, I don't really promote any ethos where it bans foods for no reason. So I think it's got a lot of really good principles. I mean, things like McDonald's and KFC weren't around in the caveman era, so great, you won't be eating those. But equally, I think it bans things like dairy and some grains, so you might be missing out on, you know, some really tasty and healthy foods. So it's got some great principles, but I wouldn't follow it 100%. So next question says, if I work out late, say I don't get home until 10 PM, should I eat afterwards? So there's this whole thing, and I hear it a lot when I'm doing weight loss clinics, in that people say, it's not what I eat, it's when I eat. It's because I eat late at night. If you take one look at the traditional Mediterranean diet, the Mediterraneans tend to eat later on at night and the obesity levels around there are pretty low. Your body doesn't work on a 24-hour clock where as soon as you eat in the dark, it stores it all as fat. What matters is your total calorie intake over the day. When you work out, you need to feed your muscles, so you need to replenish your protein stores, your glycogen stores, so your carbohydrate, to help you to fuel the next day. So I would say, if you come in after a workout and you're going to go to bed, you perhaps need something, you know, even if it's just something small like cottage cheese or a glass of milk, or if you haven't had your evening meal, have your evening meal. Just because you're eating late at night doesn't mean that you're going to store it as fat at all. The next question says, how can I make water taste more interesting, so make it less boring? I personally don't like plain tap water, but if it's ice cold with some ice cubes and some lemon, I think it tastes delicious. All fluid counts towards your fluid goals for the day, so ideally we should be drinking around 1.5 to 2 litres a day, more if you're exercising. I love herbal tea, so green tea. I personally have no added sugar squash to make my water more interesting, or you can get these special bottles where you put fresh fruit in at the bottom and you like grind it, and it makes the water taste really, really good. So it doesn't have to be tap water, you can jazz it up, you can make ice cubes with lemon pieces, strawberry pieces, just to make water taste more interesting. The next question says, should you have alcohol if you've got high cholesterol levels? So, there is some thought now that actually it's not total cholesterol that we should be looking at in isolation. It should be how that cholesterol is carried, so whether it's carried in basically small particles or large particles. In order to test for that, A, it's really expensive, and B, I don't actually think it's available in the UK, but having lots of small particles in your body carrying LDL cholesterol isn't good. And basically, if you've got that, then your triglyceride levels might be high and your HDL, happy cholesterol, good cholesterol, might be low. In order to up your good cholesterol and down your triglycerides, you want to be watching out for refined carbohydrates, too much sugar, too much alcohol, and also eating more fruits and vegetables, oily fish, and doing more exercise. So it's not looking at fats or nutrients individually, it's taking a step back and looking at your diet as a whole. Regarding coconut oil, it does contain saturated fat. However, saturated fat, although we once used to say cut down on it, it is actually quite cardiovascular risk neutral. So you can still have coconut oil, but I would still make sure that your diet is mainly unsaturated. So things like oily fish, nuts, seeds, avocados, olive oil, rapeseed oil. So if you've got all of those foods in, coconut oil is absolutely fine, and it's great in baking and high temperatures as well. So next question is similar, and it says, what about eggs and cholesterol? So eggs do contain dietary cholesterol, but dietary cholesterol doesn't really impact on the cholesterol in your blood. Eggs are a fantastic whole food. They've got fats in them, protein in them, they've got vitamins and minerals. I love eggs, and 1 or 2 a day, I don't see any problem with that. The next question is, what is your view on fizzy drinks? Do you drink them? And do I think that they're healthy? So, as a whole, fizzy drinks, I say no, they aren't good for you. I do drink them, not every day because it's not good for your teeth health, and when I do drink them I try and go for the sugar-free alternatives. So if I'm, say, out on a night out, I might have gin with slimline tonic, or I might have a lime and soda if I'm driving. I used to drink a lot of Diet Coke or vodka Diet Coke, but A, it's not good for your teeth, and it was actually staining my braces. So if you don't already know, I wear fixed braces. They are coming off in December though, woohoo! So yeah, fizzy drinks, if you're going for the no added sugar, they're not necessarily going to damage your health, but they're not good for your health, and they might be damaging your teeth. Coke also contains caffeine, so if you're caffeine sensitive, then you might not want to have too much of it. So the next question says, how many calories do I need to lose weight? And this is different for everyone. Your calorie requirement, so how many body your calorie needs to stay alive and to fuel itself, is based on your age, your gender, your muscle mass, your activity levels, your exercise levels. So really, you can estimate how many calories your body needs, but in order to lose weight, all you need to do is take off a couple of hundred. So I've got a metabolism calculator on my blog, nixnutrition.com, which I'll link down below. And basically you work out how many calories your body needs at rest. Then you add on your calories for activity and exercise. Then, for example, it comes out as, mine personally is around 2,300. So if I wanted to lose weight, I'd say, right, today I'm going to eat 2,100 calories for a week and let's see what happens to my weight. If I'm losing weight, great. If not, I might want to take off another 100 calories. My philosophy is try and eat as many calories as possible whilst achieving your weight loss goal, because then you can always take it lower. If you start really, really low, then you've got nowhere to go and you risk losing muscle mass, which you don't want. So the next question says, how can you lose weight if you don't like fruit and veg? So I was talking about this the other day with my colleagues, and I think to say that you don't like fruit and veg, all the fruit and veg in the world, is a bit of a bold statement. I would argue that you might need to try different cooking methods and different ways of eating fruit and veg. So when I was a kid, I used to say I don't like vegetables, and that's because I associated vegetables with those chopped up, cubed, carrot, mushy things that I used to get served with my lunch at school. Now though, if I have carrots, I love baby carrots roasted with a little bit of oil in the oven or a little bit of honey, which tastes delicious. I love smoothies, and to smoothies I add a handful of spinach, which you can't taste. Roasted vegetables are my favourite, but things like soups are delicious. So you really have to experiment with cooking methods, and I mean things like an apple tastes so good like chopped up, but also you could warm it up in the microwave with a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of yogurt, and honestly it tastes beautiful. So I think that everyone does like some form of fruit and veg. You just need to find out which one it is and the best cooking methods for it. Okay, I've just stopped to get a drink of squash. All this talking's making me thirsty. The next question says, how can you shift cellulite on your thighs? So cellulite is basically the way that fat underneath your skin is stored. So in girls, unfortunately, your fat is stored like this rather than this. So that's why dimples might occur. You can have cellulite if you're skinny, if you're overweight. The main thing though is to try and reduce your body fat if you need to do that, and then to basically build muscle and make your skin stronger. So have a healthy and balanced diet, eat a sufficient amount of protein, so meat, fish, eggs, lentils, yogurt, milk, and work out. So do strength-based exercises, so lift weights. The sorry thing to say though is that cellulite does tend to be genetic, so if your mum's got it or your sister's got it, then you're likely to have it as well. I personally have it, and how I deal with it is I like to fake tan, so it basically helps to reduce the appearance of it. The next question says, what should you eat post bariatric surgery? Bariatric surgery is basically weight loss surgery, so basically stomach stapling or stomach banding, and depending on where you are in the country, the advice will differ. For the majority of people though, they will have to eat a liquid diet or drink a liquid diet for around 3 weeks, then eat a pureed diet for another 3 weeks, then move on to soft and crispy textures before introducing small portions of normal textures. Like I said though, the advice will change depending on where you are in the country and depending on what your personal bariatric surgeon or bariatric dietitian advises, and I will put more information about that down below. The next question says, have you got any advice on the registered dietitian course? So I have actually filmed a full video on this, and I don't know if that video is going to go before or after this one, but I will put it in the information down below. I basically talk for at least 10 minutes about the whole course and give you all of my tips and advice in that one. So the last question that I'm going to answer in this video, just because I don't want it to be really long, it says, should you eat carbs with every meal? I've actually filmed a full video on carbohydrates. Basically, carbs aren't evil. Carbohydrates, you've got starchy carbohydrates, then you've got your sugars. You've got natural sugars such as fruit and milk, and then added sugars. Yes, we should be cutting down on added sugar, the ones found in biscuits, sweets, cakes. Starchy carbohydrates, go for things like whole grain. And if you want a general rule, then a fist-sized serving of whole grain carbohydrate with your meal is ample. So things like sweet potato, basmati rice, oats, granary bread, so a couple of slices of granary bread, and then spreading out things like fruit and yogurt over the day, just to make sure that you've got, steady levels of energy. In general though, the more active you are, the more carbohydrates you'll require. It tends to be though in Britain that we eat too much of it. There was this whole low fat craze where we evilized fat, and then we ate loads of carbs, and then now we're thinking, oh no, carbs are evil. The honest answer is that no food group in isolation is evil. You just need to be eating a sensible number of calories to sustain your weight, and within that a healthy and balanced diet. And I'll put more information about both fats and carbs below. So I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you've got any other questions that you'd like me to answer, please leave them down below. And if I haven't answered your question today, I'm really sorry, but I will get around to it. I just don't want to make these videos really long. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next week.